What's up everyone, thanks for clicking through to the video. Today we're continuing our 10 days of Air Jordan series. It's day 3 and we've got another contrasting model to the ones we had in day 1 and 2. So if you have watched those videos, the first model we had was a performance basketball shoe, which is kind of close to what the Jordan brand's DNA is all about. Then the second shoe was a hardcore lifestyle shoe that really didn't have any performance chops from a basketball perspective at least. And now the third shoe is a performance-based shoe, but not for basketball, or at least not on the court anyway. This shoe is the Air Jordan Trunner Ultimate. You know the drill. If you get anything out of the video, smash the like button and support the channel by subscribing if you haven't subscribed already. I've said it before, I'll say it again, you'll find it down there somewhere. Just find it and smash it. It'll make you feel so good to support the channel. Also, comment down below if you've got anything to say. I'm really interested in your views on this Air Jordan model or anything else you might have to say that's shoe related and constructive. Also, head on over to Instagram, check out my page, 3 kicks a day. You'll find a bunch of shoe related content there that I'm updating as often as I can. So today we're taking a look at the Trunner Ultimate. This is a shoe that was designed for more training type activities, as the name would suggest. Trunner, it's kind of like training and runner in a word. But what I think it is more suited for are those performance-based activities that would support a basketball player. So typically any sort of training runs that would involve a lot of lateral movement. And that's where these TPU cages in the midsole really come into play. We'll talk about that in a little bit more detail when we get to breaking down the shoe. Also, the marketing material for the shoe suggests that it could do runs between 5 and 15 Ks. I'll be honest, I don't know who's running in this shoe, but I'd be really interested to know. Actually, if there is anyone out there who watches this video, owns a pair of these shoes and runs in it, I'd be really keen to know about your experiences with running in it. I personally couldn't imagine running in this shoe. It just feels a little bit too stiff and clunky for my liking. And also considering the price, I wouldn't recommend this as a running shoe. I think this retailed for about $220 in Australia at least. And if you were looking for a running shoe, there are a bunch of much better, cheaper options than this guy. I was drawn to the design. I thought it looked incredible and I still like it. I think that they did a really good job with creating a shoe that has the look of a runner, but still stays true to what the Jordan brand is all about. What we'll do is we'll break the shoe down and we'll talk a little bit about each of the components, starting with the outsole. And what we've got is a full coverage rubber outsole. It has a almost waffle type of pattern. The rubber is quite thick. It works quite well for lifestyle purposes. I mean, it grips the ground as it should. There is a little cool detail, which is the Jordan logo at the heel of the shoe in like a bright orange color. So I think that adds a little bit of a pop to the outsole. But from a performance perspective, there really is nothing that is that fancy here. It's flat, no flex grooves. Then moving into the midsole, and this is what I spoke about earlier. There is a TPU cage, I guess, because it feels quite stiff in the plastic that they've used on the lateral and medial sides of the shoe. And that is showing off a visible air unit that is being used for the midsole. As far as cushioning, you have an additional Zoom air unit in the forefoot of the shoe, which theoretically should give a really nicely cushioned ride. But I don't find that there is a really nicely cushioned feel to the shoe. It feels a little bit stiff and not plush or super comfortable. And I think while this TPU cage is meant to aid stability for lateral movements where you're moving side to side, which makes sense, by the way, given that this is probably a performance shoe that will be used for training activities that would support basketball players, it just doesn't lend itself well to being a good running shoe. It's quite stiff and it's quite clunky to run in, and you don't really get that sense of responsiveness that you need to sort of take off from each and every stride. Having said that, I haven't tried to run in it, and I think it's important to disclose that. I just don't get the feeling that I want to run in it by walking around in the shoe. Moving into the upper, and what we have is a one-piece mesh upper. There is a little bit of padding around the heel, not a whole lot, and probably not enough if I'm completely honest. I think because the mesh itself isn't super flexible and it feels a little bit thin, it probably needed a little bit more padding around the heel and potentially around the tongue, which also isn't padded at all, just to make it a little bit more comfortable. And I think that is another reason why I personally don't think it would be a good running shoe. I just don't think the upper molds to your foot in the way that it should to help you have a comfortable ride. I think for lifestyle purposes, it's okay, and it's probably better the less you spend in the shoe. I don't think I could spend all day in the shoe. I think there are components of the upper that would agitate me more than the firmness of the midsole, but it is breathable, so it's not a totally uncomfortable upper. As far as other features, we've got a little bit of overlays around the toe cap and some overlay around the heel area just to give a little bit of additional structure to that area. Like I said, the tongue is not padded and it is attached with a strap around the forefoot. You've got some flat white laces in this colorway, at least, finishing off the package. And that's about it. This was the only colorway that was available here in Australia, which was fine because I personally quite like the colorway. I like the contrast of the white, the pink, and there are these little splashes of purple around the eye stay. But I think there were a few other colors that were available overseas that also looked really good. As far as the sister model or cousin model or brother model or whatever it is that was released in conjunction with this guy, the Trunner Advanced, that wasn't released here in Australia, and that may have been a little bit more better in terms of comfort than the Trunner Ultimate, but I won't know because I'm not planning on trying to get another pair. In any case, that was my look at the Trunner Ultimate. I think it's a good shoe from a design perspective. I don't think it totally delivers from a comfort perspective, but an ambitious design all the same. Have you got a pair of the Trunner Ultimate or the Trunner Advanced? Do you have both? And if you do have both, which one do you prefer? In either case, are you still using your Trunner? I'd be interested in your comments below. Until the next video, laters.